This can't have just happened to me, right? You know what? Don't answer that. You can call me Ezekiel. This is Kenshi. Let's jump in. Welcome to Kenshi. I'd recommend picking the Wanderer start for your first game. Here, you'll be able to customize your character's race and appearance. You should play as a male Greenlander, since they have the easiest time getting around the world. I'll get into why that is later. Like a lot of games, characters in Kenshi have attributes and skills. Attributes affect a broad variety of things, while each skill concerns a specific activity. Characters don't have levels, skills and attributes do. This means that if you want to improve your skill with a weapon, you have to use it. To improve your medical skill, use it. To improve your toughness, yes, get beaten up to use it. Unfortunately, all of your stats start at level 1. This means that even if you're not trying to train your get beaten up skills, you might end up training them anyway. I'm going to give you a reasonably quick training regimen to make your character not suck. Let's call it the Ezekiel regimen.
Never doubt that you're the one, and you can have your dream. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. And nothing's gonna ever keep you down.
If you picked the Wanderer start, you'll begin the game in the hub. That's exactly where you want to be. There's a guy called the Twitchy Bar Thug. Just insult him until he and his buddies attack you. While you will get some fighting experience, that's not the main reason you're provoking him. The local guards will help you fight him since they'll think he was the aggressor. Once the thug and his pals are down, loot them. The guards won't care. Keep the stuff you like this cool leather jacket. Sell everything else to the barkeep. Buy whatever food and medicine you need while you're here, as well as a crossbow and ammunition. You can train your strength and athletics by putting a lot of heavy things in your inventory and running around. Seriously, just run, that's it. Once you're satisfied, we'll work on fighting. The local ninja tower has training dummies for assassination, lockpicking, and melee. The trouble is that they don't like homeless people using their training equipment. That's what stealth is for. Sneak while using the equipment. As long as the eye is blue, you're safe. As soon as someone walks by, stop using the equipment. While not using the equipment, walk around. It'll increase your stealth. Now it's time to get out into the world. There are roving bands of murderers out there, and they want to, murder you. If your athletic skill is high enough, you should be able to outrun them. Remember that crossbow you bought earlier? Now's the time to use it. Give them the old shoot and scoot. Once the band of marauders is down, loot them for their valuables and run away. For further strength training, pick one of them up while you run away. I'm not joking, it actually works. By now you should have a character who can both defend themselves and run away. With a functional character, let's adventure.
I'm going on an adventure.
You'll probably have noticed by now that you need to eat, and in Kenshi, food ain't cheap. Money in Kenshi is called cats. Not that kind. A money-making strategy I find all over YouTube is to lure criminals into town so the guards beat them up, then looting the bodies. While this does work, it's time-consuming and boring. After dealing with the early game training, you shouldn't have to go through any more boring. Both in terms of profits and fun, exploring the world is the best way to make money. Kenshi is filled with all sorts of interesting, profitable, and dangerous places. Places like the Ashlands offer some of the biggest profits, but they're also extremely dangerous. There's always something interesting right around the corner. There's a benefit to exploring other than profit: the lore. Having been in development for over 12 years, Kenshi has accrued a lot of lore, and it's good lore too. As you travel, you'll meet the game's unique characters and learn about their history. The trouble is that many will lie to you. Sometimes these lies get upgraded to half-truths if you're the right race. During your travels, you might even encounter the mightiest warrior in the land. Beep. Meep meep.
Begin!
You meet potential party members in bars. Most demand an upfront fee, while others will join you for free. The fee will be higher the more skilled they are. You can't see a prospective party member's skills, but you can see their attributes by clicking on them. Use a combination of that and their dialogue to figure out what they'll be good at. Regardless of how a party member starts, you can always train them into the role you want. Another way to get party members is by buying slaves. Fortunately, or unfortunately depending on your perspective, they don't actually become your slaves. As soon as you leave the town you bought them in, most will run away. The rest will stay and join you as regular, non-enslaved party members. For some temporary muscle, you can hire mercenaries. Mercenaries don't join your party, and you can't tell them what to do. What they will do is follow you around and attack anyone who attacks you. The further out you explore, the less you can rely on guards and patrols to protect you. Combat in Kenshi is more fine-tuned than it first appears. For example, attacks only land if a weapon makes physical contact with a target. This means that if your micro is good enough, you can make any character effectively invulnerable. Similarly, you can make a point of positioning yourself against multiple enemies in such a way that a single attack hits all of them.
Come down today and try some corn, or we will sacrifice your newborn.
Factions can be found all throughout the world. Some, like the cannibals, are inherently hostile. Others you can cooperate with. The biggest factions are the Holy Nation and the United Cities. They hate each other. They're both on the north side of the map, so if you like politics and war, that's the place to be. Joining a faction means their patrols will defend you, and the patrols and city guards of hostile factions will attack you. When going through a faction's territory, they might treat you in different ways for different reasons. The Holy Nation only likes Greenlander men, so if you're anything else, you'll have trouble with the guards, or even be attacked on sight. Interestingly, the Holy Nation won't attack non-accepted races if they're with a Greenlander, which is nice. Although the reason for this is that they're assuming you're the Greenlander's slave, which is less nice. By the way, this doesn't work on skeletons. As far as the Holy Nation is concerned, they're only good dead. You can do missions for factions. Usually you get them from its leader. Most often this means destroying and conquering their enemies. Conquest is as simple as a single trigger. When the leader of a faction or a region dies, its rival faction will take over the affected cities. If you're really bold, you can try to kidnap a faction's leader instead. If you bring them to their rivals, this will give you a massive reward.
Prayer.
Adventuring is great and all, but homelessness is not. You should build a base. An ideal location for a base will have iron, fertile soil, and be close to an existing town so you have someone to sell your stuff to. Harvesting resources is a repetitive process, and the game knows it. To make things easier, the game features a job system which automates repetitive tasks. Most tasks that involve harvesting also include hauling the product to its dedicated storage. While jobs are active, characters will defend themselves and each other, as well as stop to eat when they need to. This means bases run themselves. When something big happens, you can turn jobs off, manually control your characters, and then turn jobs back on when the problem is solved. Before you can build advanced facilities, you need to research them. Research costs books, which for some reason can't be reused. You can buy books from just about anywhere, but the best technology requires ancient science books, among other rare things. Very few places sell them, so you'll have to find an ancient science lab or similar facility and raid it. These facilities are heavily guarded, so be ready for a hard fight, or a difficult stealth challenge. Factions nearby your base will make a point of messing with it. Building a base in United Cities territory means you have to pay taxes. The Holy Nation doesn't collect taxes, but they will oppress your women and minorities. They also demand you take part in Prayer Day. You also have to deal with hostile factions who really just want to kill you. You'll want strong defenses to deal with them. Or alternatively, you can just evacuate your town, wait for the raid to end, and return to town. Most raiders don't even loot your stores or burn your fields. It's really quite forgiving for Kenshi.
I don't know, what do you want to do today?
I don't know, what do you want to do today?
I don't know, what do you want to do today?
So, what now? Kenshi is very much a do-whatever-you-want sort of game. Playing as a lone assassin can be just as fun as playing as a warlord. The game is quite unforgiving though. If you need the help, you can cheat. The game comes with an editor which you can use to buff your stats and give yourself anything else you might need. There's also a hell of a modding community. However noble or degenerate you want to be, there's probably a mod for you. That was Kenshi. Feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments. I'll get back to you pretty quick. Up next is Kenshi, but in 2D. Try not to go insane.